Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro, and I thought since today is August 30th, I'd take a look and see who is born today. So I headed over to astro.com and I see that Cameron Diaz has a birthday today. And here is her chart. We'll get back to that in a minute. And also, one other person, I totally worshipped her when I was a kid, Peggy Lipton. And she was in a TV series called Mod Squad from 1968 to 1973. So I grew up, of course, watching her. I was born in 61, and she is still a beautiful woman today. And I see that some of the things that these two women have in common, besides the fact that they're both beautiful, is that they began modeling when they were young, and then they moved on into acting. So besides being born on the same day, they were both models. And an interesting thing about people born with their sun in, let's see, why did that close up on me? Here it goes. And here we've got Peggy Lipton's chart full on so we can see it large. People with the sun in Virgo or their rising sign in Virgo tend to look good in clothes. They can take almost anything off a rack and put it on and look like they're modeling. Usually gives a well-formed, well-proportioned body that clothes just look good on. So these two women both share that similarity in that they started as models, and they both look absolutely beautiful in almost anything, and they are beautiful. One interesting thing, too, that I found about both these people is that they were born on August 30th, and that happens to be the Nine of Hearts card in the Destiny card system, Cards of Your Destiny. So they share the characteristics of that birth card, that they are both Nine of Hearts. One thing I discovered while I was looking up Nine of Hearts in my Destiny card book, which is by Robert Camp, and you can find out more about that over here at my site. Cards of Your Destiny is along my top navigation bar, and you can find out more about the books here. And I like to use them when I do readings for people, see what their cards are, and see how it ties in with their chart, with their planets. I always see that there's an overlap between the astrology in somebody's life and the card. When I was looking up the Nine of Hearts in the Destiny card book, I came across the name of Bridget Bardot. Now, she is not born on this day. She's born actually about a month from now, and she's born on September 28th. She also began her career as a model in her teenage years, as these two other women both did. So all three of these women are Nine of Hearts card, although one of them is born in September, not on August the 30th. So three beautiful women, all Nine of Hearts. If you are lucky enough to be born today and you are female, you might be as beautiful as these women are. One thing I found out about the Nine of Hearts card is that very often a nine person will have some significant time periods in their life, and then abruptly that will end, and they will complete one phase of their life and move on to something else. That's something that occurred when I read the history of Peggy Lipton, that when she married and became a wife and a mom, she put family first and she stopped her acting career. And Bridget Bardot, at a certain point, simply decided to stop entirely and became a bit of a recluse and put her time and her energy into rescuing animals and being an advocate for animals. So there may be something coming up for Cameron Diaz in her future too, where the energy of the Nine of Hearts will lead her to move out of acting and find some other chapter in life that she goes for, where she would close the door on acting and then move ahead towards something else. Now let's look at Cameron's chart up close and put the transits in and see what else she's got going on, as she is the youngest one here. and may still be very much focused on career and doing things out there in the world. Currently, it looks as though she may be having some romantic or creative things going on with the activity in her fifth house, Mars and Saturn transiting through the fifth house, or perhaps activity around children, since the fifth house rules children as well. The moon in Taurus gives her a great deal of her beauty. Taurus is a Venus-ruled sign. Moon in Taurus generally is extremely sensual. Taurus rules all of the senses, and there's generally a natural beauty around a Moon in Taurus woman. She's got some feistiness here with her Mercury in Leo, and I imagine that she's probably a loyal friend, because her Mercury in Leo forms a sextile here to Saturn in Gemini in the 11th house, and this may also give her a certain amount of popularity with her fans, and they may wait to hear what she's doing as she's working on things. They would want to keep in touch, hear what she's doing, and she would want to impart that information to people as well as to what she is working on creatively, since Leo rules that fifth house of creativity. Many actresses, actors have something going on in their first, fifth, and 11th houses. Primarily, the first house gives the desire to express oneself. Her Venus does not sit in the first. It's conjunct her ascendant, very close to the first house here. This also gives her beauty, with Venus on the ascendant in moon-ruled Cancer. So that really emphasizes the physical form and the attractiveness and the femininity. These are both strongly feminine signs, Cancer and Taurus. Mars conjunct the Sun in Virgo in the second house, making a trine to her Jupiter in Sagittarius. I'm not sure if I've read that she is very strict in her diet, but I would think that she probably would be, that this would indicate that she's concerned about her health, and she makes choices about what she eats and how she exercises in order to maintain her health. And her personal values may be very strong. She may be outspoken about some of her personal values or choices, such as if she is a vegetarian, then she would probably share her opinion on the health benefits of being a vegetarian, or why she is, or if she's an advocate of a particular form of exercise, then she would share that with other people. How she spends her money, how she works, is also very important to her. Her choices. She's very aware, or self-aware, I should say, of the power of what her money does for her, and she would be seeking to expand herself in terms of health primarily. Service to other people is a very strong thing here, with Jupiter in the 6th house and Saturn in the 11th. I do not know if she supports any particular organizations or individual people financially in any way, but I have the feeling that whatever she talks about, because Mercury is in the 2nd house of money and personal values, that her actual money follows after it, or that she would advocate for causes or for individual people, or support a particular business if she felt very strongly about it. Multiple homes or relocation, having friends in and out of the home, potentially an unusual childhood growing up, and I don't know her history, but Uranus here in the 4th house can give more than one home, can give a lifestyle where perhaps she left home early and lived in different places, or was very independent, and she may even today need to be able to get up and go and be in different places, or have several places that she considers home, and she might open her home to friends. Let's see what else is going on for her. Neptune moving through the ninth house, there may be some travel, some greater creative work during this time period and over the course of the next year or so. Uranus moving through the 10th house of career. She would also be focused on the fame factor. She may reach a level of fame that she has not reached before. She may also change something that she does work-wise or desire to work on independent projects. Now let's take a look over at Peggy Lipton. And you can see when we look at different people's charts, we can see how very different individuals are. I read a little bit about Peggy Lipton here, and she comments that she never felt particularly sure or confident of herself. This may have something to do with these Libra planets that she has in the 8th house. The 8th house is a very deep house. It's one of the psychic houses, incredibly sensitive. Generally, I find that people who have a busy 8th house, they're kind of old souls when they're very young. From the time they're children, they don't feel young. They look out at the world with a level of depth or understanding that their own age group doesn't necessarily have. And in the 8th house, the deeper things in life become very important. She may have also looked toward all her relationships in life, but especially romantic relationships, marriage, anybody that she was deeply committed to, as being a mirror for her. The Libra energy is always about self and the other, the mirror, and her moon, Jupiter, Venus, Mars here would indicate that she grows through relationship, but to have a sense of herself, she may actually feel that she needs to have somebody there to give her some sort of feedback. Uranus here in the 4th house, conjunct her North Node in Gemini, and I am not sure how this factors in for her life purpose in terms of the work she does out there in the world. Traditionally, when somebody's North Node sits down in the 4th house of home and family and the psychological foundation, very often that person is meant to spend time focusing on home and family. So her South Node, which would sit opposite up here at the midheaven, would have drawn her very naturally and easily up into being recognized, noticed, having a career where she's in the public eye, whereas the actual spiritual work in life would be to spend time on going within or spend time with the family, also to focus a great deal on her marriage, which she has done for many, many years. The sun in the 7th house of relationship in Virgo also points to working at making a marriage and a home and family and doing it as perfectly as possible. Saturn creates the most amount of work or challenge for her in her life. When somebody has Saturn in the 6th house, generally there is a strong work ethic or the thought that they should be working and bringing in an income, especially when it squares Jupiter here, which can really emphasize the need for the materialism or to have money to take care of things in the future. I'm not sure how her career went in terms of being able to invest, but it looks as though the money earned through her creativity and being seen, attracting attention, which is very Leo, very 5th house overlaid here in the 6th house, that she would have invested it, that it would have gone into the family, and perhaps she might have even worked with her partner or been part of her partner's business in some way as a source of income. So I'm not sure if at any time during her marriage that she actually was working with her husband and created an income as a result of that. Neptune here in the 7th house in Libra, making the sextile to Saturn, it would be particularly hard for her to make a decision to come out of a relationship. And I have the feeling that she would never get over somebody entirely or never really forget them. And even if she and a partner were to split and move on to other relationships, there would be a big piece of her that would always identify with the experience of the partnership. With so much going on here, 7th and 8th house, and her son in the 7th, it would be hard even after divorce to really disengage from what was a very strong extension of herself. Her partner and her family life are who she is and extensions of herself. In terms of work, with Mercury here in the 6th, Pluto, Saturn, it might have felt as if she had to really put her will behind it to play a role. That it might have taken mind over matter or drawing upon inner reserves and some strength or courage in order to actually be that person or act as if she was that person, the role that she was playing. So acting may have felt as if it was a job, not necessarily something that she wanted to do to achieve a level of fame. I would have to look at the stages that she went through over the years that she was extremely popular back in the late 60s and early 70s to see what the transits to her chart were at that time period. We'll take a look at transits right now for her. Now she's actually, I don't know if she's back in the limelight or planning to be, but with Mars and Saturn conjunct her midheaven, there may be a desire to be seen in the world again and work on projects that have to do with acting. Whatever it is that she does, I would really recommend that she choose something that she feels is fun or exciting. Potentially even something that would involve some travel or a sense of adventure or exploration because of the Sagittarius midheaven here. Comes into my head like a reality TV show of some sort where there's a constant changeover of going to different places or talking to different people, and perhaps being the host of that type of a show would be a good project for her at this phase in her life with this particular transit that she has going on. Neptune in the 1st house, as it transits through the 1st house in Pisces, and she has Pisces energy here in the 1st house, she's looking at that entire sea of possibilities and trying to decide who does she want to be or what does she want to experience at this point in her life. This can be a very softening time period while Neptune moves through the 1st, and enjoyment of family, friends, pets, opening up more and allowing more people in to her life on a personal level would be a good thing to do while Neptune is moving through there. Also to hold on to any wishes or dreams or follow through perhaps on things that she's dreamed about that she has never gone and done. That now is the time where Neptune says, okay, what would you like to do? Go for it and see what happens. A lot going on in her 7th house right now, so she may be involved in a relationship or she may be looking for a relationship. If she is in a relationship right now, generally there would be some happiness, some communication, and some growth. If she is not currently involved, this is one of the best times of the year for her to be looking for somebody, and a good time to date, good time to get out and be seen socially with your partner while this is going on through the 7th house. Pluto in the 11th house, that can actually push her out there into the public eye as well, bring her back into notice by the public, and this can increase her magnetic ability to the crowd or the audience. The 11th house rules the stage, the audience, the group, friends, and I see that it also rules the internet a great deal. That's where people gather and share information and experiences with each other. So she could establish a presence online and be very active online during the years that Pluto moves through the 11th house. So that's what's going on for Peggy Lipton. And I see here that she's lacking water in the chart, and I have not looked at any charts along with hers to see if her husband of many years past was filling in that lack of an element. But I would guess most likely that we would find that he had he has a lot of earth and water to balance out what she is light on, and whoever she attracts in her life, she might attract people who are lacking fire and air, because she is heavy on the fire and air. And this person basically high energy. It's hard to keep up with somebody who has a lot of fire and air in their chart. So even though she says she had a hard time finding a sense of self, or she didn't feel as though she was overly confident, it could be that through the acting and through partnership or relationship, she developed a stronger sense of self, having that person to be able to see who she is by being in relationship with someone. But I would also say that anybody who has this much energy in Leo, Mercury, Pluto, and Saturn, when push comes to shove and they are placed in situations that require a great deal of courage or a great deal of self-assertion, that this sleeping cat will wake up and be as strong as she needs that cat to be. So deep down inside, she actually does have a fairly strong sense of self, but she may feel as though she has to prove herself in life in terms of the service that she provides for other people. And she may have been very involved, and probably still is, with her own children, and been an incredibly fierce and protective mother who would have, and probably still does, encourage her kids to do what they want to do, and you can do it, and I'll be there for you. So I'd say that even though she feels that she may have lacked something, actually the planets give her everything that she truly needs. But she is meant in this lifetime to be sharing it. She's meant to be sharing it in partnership primarily, and she's meant to be sharing it with family and generally everybody she meets. She has a one-on-one type of chart that looks for one-on-one relationships. 8th house people, though, are always shadowed by the energy of Scorpio, which rules the 8th house. So a strong 8th house in a chart can make somebody seem a bit reserved, or they're more along the lines of, I'll wait and I'll watch and see what you're going to do before I figure out if I'm safe or if this situation's safe. They are not always overly expressive around other people, and tend to keep their vulnerabilities hidden rather than opening up and being fully exposed. So happy birthday, ladies. Happy birthday, Cameron Diaz, and happy birthday to Peggy Lipton, and have a good year, ladies.